Hello, hello. Thank you very much for joining this webinar on how to naturally overcome pain.
Thank you very much for.
So please send your comments or feedback or questions during the webinar, and I'll try to watch them and give you feedback back. You can send me text right here. And if you have any comments. So wait, I see people joining now, so let's give it just a little bit longer to allow people to join. And if you have a particular type of inflammatory colon condition or joint or pain condition, then please text me, send me a message so I can address your particular concerns. So maybe we can start off just by talking a little bit in general terms about pain. Pain is really a signal or a message from your body, like all signals from your body, including gas, bloating, and other types of feelings and sounds and gurgling and acidity. They're all communicating to you. It's really a matter of interpreting these signals and understanding the meaning behind it. Now, of course, for pain, it's quite easy to understand that you have a problem. It's like an alarm bell going off in the body, giving you a message that something needs to be addressed. So interpreting the pain is really very important. And of course, there's different types of inflammatory and conditions, and there's many, many causes of pain. But if we just look at where the pain is coming from in our body, particularly around the abdominal area, we can then determine whether we have an organ that's inflamed or blocked, or a system that's depleted, blocked, or congested or inflamed that needs to be addressed. So it's very important to be able to interpret the types of pain that we have in our abdominal area. Now, if we have joint pain, we know that our joints, when they're moving and we feel the inflammation on our joints, then we know this is joint pain. If we have muscle tenderness and pain, we know this is muscle pain. If we have a headache, we know it's more related to the nervous system. So it's very important to understand or relate to what system or organ in the body is the cause of the pain. Besides just taking pain relievers or pain pills or just aspirin, it's better to understand it. And of course, when we just take an aspirin or a pain pill or even a tea that just relieves pain, like white willow bark, then we're really just kind of turning off the alarm system so it doesn't bother us, but we're not addressing the root cause. So the root cause needs to be addressed. And the major causes of pain that we have are toxicities and accumulating in the joints, in the muscles, and creating pain. We can have blockages in the gallbladder, the pancreas, the colon, and can create pain. And we can have kind of a depletion in the nervous system, or where we end up with pain and headaches. So, it's important to understand not only what system or organ is being affected by pain by looking at the source of the pain and interpreting it, but then trying to understand, the underlying causes behind it. Is it from a systemic inflammation throughout the whole body, and we're just feeling the joint pain here on our joints or in our colon, but actually, in fact, it's systemic inflammation everywhere? That's important to determine. And if there's blockages, like say in the kidneys or the gallbladder, it's important to realize it's a blockage that's creating the pain, an obstruction. And then also the third category would be like a depletion, where your lack of minerals, lack of vitamins, lack of fat, so the nerve system, neurological, start to have neurological problems, attention problems, and you could have headaches and nervous headaches and nerve pain due to this type of depletion in the body, which is somewhat nutritional. So, many people talk about taking magnesium or taking blackstrap molasses, which we know is high in magnesium for pain. But, well, that may not work if it's an inflammatory pain or a blocked pain, but that will work very good if you have a kind of a nerve-related, depleted type of pain. So before you start guessing which types of home treatment, you really have to determine whether you're in one of these three categories. Inflammatory, and of course in Ayurveda, where there's a Pitta-Vikruti, where there's heat, inflammation. That's usually a person who's warm and hot, and maybe their muscles feel warm, and they're wearing tank tops in the winter, and they're not cold. And then they feel that it's that type of person that gets this type of inflammatory pain. But you can always feel the joints, feel the muscles, feel the parts that's painful, and feel heat. Even you may feel heat right in your lower spine or your shoulder area. You can clearly feel the temperature is warmer there, and kind of producing a certain heat that you didn't feel in other areas of your body where you didn't have the pain. So if you're a warm person particularly, but for sure you feel the pain, you put your hand on your arm, your muscle, and you feel the temperature, and then you move it over to the wrist where the pain is, and you feel heat there coming around the wrist, right around there, and that's a type of inflammation, inflammatory pain. And you may feel heat in other places, you just haven't felt the pain yet. So you may just be feeling, when you feel the pain, that's just the tip of the iceberg. Or if you're in an inflammatory condition, more than likely you're going to have muscle pain coming sooner. You could have inflammatory colon pain. But if you have muscle pain, joint pain, and you have inflammation in the colon, this is systemic at this point. You have pain and inflammation and heat. Inflammation is always accompanied by heat. So you can conclude that your type of pain is this type of inflammatory, or in Ayurveda, what type of Pitta type Vikruti, where there's a high Pitta, high heat, high inflammation. And so this needs to be adjusted by taking cooling herbs, dandelion, cooling foods like cucumbers, taking aloe vera. Aloe vera is very good for this type of inflammatory heating type of pain, because aloe cools it down and takes away inflammation. Some of these lotions that use arnica in it can help with that type of pain. Little a turmeric milk at night in that case would work well, but you wouldn't want to add a lot of pepper or ginger to it because it could be more heating. But on the other hand, taking hot baths could make it worse. Taking too much ginger, spice, or cayenne could make it worse. And we also have these type of hot pads that can be used that are Chinese medicine, kind of like a tiger balm on a pad that heats things up. So you wouldn't want to take that, because your pain is the opposite, wants to be cooled down. So ice pack may make it feel better, or just a lukewarm bath may make it feel better. Or very good one is baking soda baths for this type of systemic inflammation. We'll talk a little bit more about diet and things that we can do to bring down this type of systemic inflammation. So that's the first type of pain that you have to understand if you have it. The second type is kind of more of a blockage type of pain. So say you have pain right here in the gallbladder area under the right rib, after you have something fried or oily, and you feel like this, not up here in the heart, but down here. Well, this is a type of blockage or gallbladder congestion. It's very painful. Obviously relaxing the nerves with magnesium and some things like this will help. But here it's more important to avoid the blockage. Fatty foods, fried foods, dairy, and congestive foods are going to make it worse, which is why you get that attack after you have that T-bone steak at night. And obviously going vegetarian, having more beans, having more fiber, taking herbs that are going to start to get the bile moving and liquefy the bile more are going to help with that type of blockage. I mean, there's herbs that can help to dissolve the gallstones, improve liver function, and get things moving. But it's not really inflammatory pain. I mean, you just have blockages in the gallbladder or the bile duct that's creating pain. Same for kidneys. So if you get the kidney pain in the lower back and it starts radiating up the shoulder or the whole side, it's not on the spine per se, but it's that lower back, and maybe having something too salty or even drinking too much water, and you can feel this pain in the kidneys. Maybe you have to urinate at night a lot, and you're drinking water and it's just coming right out, and you're still remaining dry. These are all, you have to urinate 2-3 times at night. could be signs that you have kidney blockage, kidney stones. So you want to flush them out. You want to avoid calcium supplements, too much calcium in the diet, and other things that are congestive and could block these stones. So, and again, taking magnesium, taking relaxing herbs, taking teas like joint and muscle tea made of willow bark and devil's claw will help you with the pain. But in fact, you really need to clear out the blockage. So same goes for the colon. There's many areas in the colon you can feel pain. If you have a perforation in the colon, obviously you got to go to hospital, but intestinal obstruction in the colon can be very painful. Usually in the upper left quadrant here, the pain will be, or down here. If you're on the lower right side down here, it could be the appendix could be inflamed. It's very common to have this type of appendicitis where there's inflammation in the appendix. And of course, the doctors would just remove it, just like they do with the gallbladder, is just remove it. This comes from years of mild or extreme constipation where there's, the appendix is very small. And it keeps a little bacteria in there in case all of your colon is flushed out in case of food poisoning or diarrhea, and it saves a little bit of the healthy bacteria in there. It's like your little storehouse of probiotics in your appendix. They didn't know what it was for before, so they used to always take it out. But I believe now they realize its value in helping to supply the healthy bacteria. But it's easy to be blocked, and it's easy to be inflamed, and it's very painful. Same with the pancreas. Pancreas is on the other side, right up in here, and it can cover the whole left side, the whole left of the body. Very sharp pain, pancreatitis. Now, these all need to be treated individually. You could, again, take teas, take herbs, take willow bark, many things you could do to help to pacify the pain. But in this case you would really have to take particular treatment and herbs to clear the pancreas, to reduce its inflammation, to unblock it and stimulate it. And there's certain herbs that are just made for this type of inflammatory condition in the pancreas. And of course, if you have on your esophagus in this area, it could be the acidity coming up, kind of a reflux. Some extreme pains could even be cancer. So it's really important to listen to the pain. Diverticuli is a type of pocket in the colon, and if it becomes inflamed, diverticulitis, it becomes infected, so to speak, then this can also be painful. Usually it's on the descending colon down here, but it could be you could feel the pain anywhere in the abdominal area. So it's very important to go have this checked out with a doctor and to know what is the cause of your pain. I mean, making sure it's not a tumor, a growth, or a giant fibroid growing in there and creating blockage. So it's very important to determine that before we just start taking pain relieving herbs. So mostly we're going to be talking today about relieving more joint pain and muscle pain, this type of typical pain that we would get with, say, arthritis or a type of fibromyalgia, inflammatory pain in the muscles. But all of the dietary recommendations that I provide will help to bring down all types of inflammatory pain, whether it's the pancreas or pancreatitis or appendicitis or diverticulitis, any type of inflammatory condition, even inflammatory colon condition, you would want to avoid. And I hope you know this, folks, by now, because I've talked about it a lot, and Ayurveda has been making this quite clear. And I think many people have learned the importance of removing the nightshade food category when you have any type of inflammatory condition that we've mentioned here today. And that, of course, includes tomatoes, tomato sauce in particular, cooked tomatoes, eggplant, paprika, bell peppers, all types of peppers, and even the white potato to a lesser degree. But definitely the tomato, the eggplant, the bell peppers, these generally should be removed. And that can help tremendously by bringing down the inflammation. And then on the other hand, to have more of the gourd family, squash and zucchini and pumpkin, and not also avoiding a lot of sour foods like citrus can exasperate this pain, while having sweet fruits like dates, melons, can actually bring down the pain. So, in Ayurveda, they use the taste. So the sour increases pitta, acidity, while sweet, brings down the acidity. And also very hot, spicy foods like ginger, cayenne, paprika. These are all going to make these conditions worse. If you've had any type of inflammation in the colon, you're not taking chili pepper, cayenne pepper, or even black pepper. And the same goes for inflammation and pain and other organs and systems in the body. There's very few cases where you have this need to take a kind of a spicy or hot substance. We did talk about, I'm kind of jumping around here, but let's go back and make sure we're on talking about the 3 types again. So the first type was a heating, inflammatory type of pain. Second is a type of blockage that you have in the system. And the third is a type of depleted. And a depleted type of pain is, particularly when it has a joint pain, when you move the joints, there's cracking and grinding and pain. And, there's the cartilage between the joints is actually depleted. This can come from a low-fat diet, not having enough healthy fats in the diet, dieting, missing meals, nutritional deficiencies. And you combine that with a low magnesium, maybe a low D vitamin from not being out in the sun, then, you're going to have joint pain, muscle pain here, and it's kind of a depleted type of pain. And your hands even can feel cold, your feet can feel cold because the poor circulation is making it worse. So in that case, hot teas, hot ginger, turmeric with pepper and more ginger, and these heating pads will work wonders. A hot salt bath. Salt's really one of the best things for many types of pain and inflammatory conditions. Take a cup of Himalayan salt and take a bath in it, and this really helps. Only that person that has a type of high body heat and too much inflammatory pain may do better with a baking soda bath than the salt bath. But even you have sores in the mouth or canker sores, you can gargle with salt water. You can take a bath in salt water, and you have blockages, of course, and nasal congestion in the nose. You can do the neti pot and pour the salt water through the nose. So you should always have plenty of salt in the home to help with many conditions, including helping bring down pain. In Ayurveda, we have a nice Mahanarana oil here, and this is an anti-inflammatory oil we got from Banyan Botanicals, and it's very good topical oil where they're using sunflower oil, coconut oil, and certain nervine herbs and analgesic herbs that are bringing down pain. And you can put that right on the body, particularly good for muscle and joint pain. That's very effective. And of course, there's many herbs. We're going to throw in a few more herbs than the last time I spoke on this subject, because really the analgesic herbs that are available, mostly in Ayurvedic herbalism, are probably the most effective and easiest to use for pain. See, the Gugulus, I mentioned it in my last video, but there's a Yogaraj Gugulu, Kaishor Gugulu, Triphala Gugulu. These are different types of Gugulu that Yogaraj would be for that joint, a depleted type of high vata, ama, or toxins in the joint. And this Yogaraj Gugulu cleans out the joints and gets rid of the pain. And combine that with having more fat in the diet, more butter, this kind of cracking joints and burning joints or arthritis type of condition will be resolved from Yogaraj Gugulu. You can Google the Gugulu, and you can find all about this. Gugulu by itself is an analgesic, very detoxing and cleansing formula. This is a formula of many herbs. And if there's heat and inflammation like the Pitta type, then you would use Kaishor Gugulu, not Yogaraj. Yogaraj is too heating. So if you're a hot person and you're getting really hot and you can feel the heat on your pain, then you want to use Kaishor Gugulu. I know it's supposed to be home remedies, but these are really the best thing for those two types of pain, is those Gugulus. So I really had to bring them out this time. And also a great substance that really helps with inflammatory conditions, particularly when it comes to like pancreatitis and colitis and other types of internal inflammation, is boswellia. That's right, boswellia. I got a good pound of it here, and that's what it looks like. We grind that up, and it's very anti-inflammatory. So, I have an anti-inflammatory formula, not necessarily a pain-reducing formula, but It brings down the inflammation. You mix that with the turmeric together, and fantastic. Much better than this, turmeric and pepper concept. It's really the boswellia that's much more effective than turmeric. But you mix it with a little turmeric. If you have somebody who's heavy and not too hot, you can put a little pepper in it, or a little, if they're cold body type, you can put a little ginger in it, and neither one if they're warm. So inflammation, boswellia is really one of the most powerful substances. It's a type of resin, I think, related to frankincense. Very effective. Oh, here's some Googaloo in its natural state there. It's all black, but it's generally not taken by itself. It's mixed in formulas like I showed you. But you also have some kind of like sedative types of pain relieving formula. In Ayurveda, we have Tagar, Jadamatsi, Shantapukspi, and these are like, and even Musta. These are Ayurvedic herbs that help with pain, and they're kind of analgesic plus sedatives. But in Western herbs, probably one that's most known is valerian root. So at night, if you took some valerian root at night, you'd probably sleep better and take out your pain. So there's many sedative herbs that also work as analgesic herbs, both in Western herbalism and in Indian and Chinese as well, that are very effective because not only does it take out the pain, but it will help take care of tension and help you sleep better. So particularly good if you have the pains keeping you up at night. Now, of course, the old staple is the white willow bark, and that's what I make my teas from. Here, the joint and muscle pain tea. Main ingredients is white willow bark. And we also put some devil's claw in there, St. John's wort, which is a very anti-inflammatory. I wouldn't say it's really bringing down pain too much by itself, but it just takes care of inflammation. Mixed with arnica, it will take down pain. And I also put some skullcap, which is another one of these Western sedatives plus analgesic qualities to it. So it's kind of sedating you slightly and taking care of your pain. So if you drink this pain tea all day long, put the pain anti-inflammatory herbal oil, Maharana oil, all over your body. And then at night, you're taking the valerium or tagar and other herbs to kind of sedate yourself and bring down pain. You can at least, bring down the pain and inflammation to a degree. Hopefully, you're not having to take your pain medication, because we know that there's many harms taking pain medication long term. It can create constipation because of peristaltic action, damages the nerves and the nervous system, particularly in the colon, and then you can become constipated. Then you have to take another herb for the another herb or medicine for the constipation. And some of these pain relieving pain medicine can be addictive as well, and they're harmful to the kidneys, harmful to the liver. So it's very helpful to find alternatives. Taking a salt bath every night will help. And also just another supplement, flax oil. It's very effective. 1 teaspoon a day. This helps with inflammation. Very good for pain. I'd say it works better for pain than the fish oil. But sometimes if a person's very depleted, their nails are weak, they haven't had much fat in their diet, they've been on a low-fat diet, and they've got the cracking joints, then, I could put them on flax oil plus some fish oil to really, and some ghee and butter to lubricate those joints. And many people have come to me where they've had this type of cracking joint pain, and just by having butter, they said it got a lot better because it lubricated the joints so they weren't cracking. And here I just found on my shelf, I had some white willow bark in capsules. So, you can buy it in capsules and take that as a natural pain relief. So you should have something topical like the arnica or MSM cream, which are even aloe vera topically helps, or the oil, I think, is really the most effective, these anti-inflammatory pain reducing oils. And then internally. So between all of these, and of course, you're following this anti-inflammatory diet of no pungent, spicy foods, no sour foods, and no acidic foods like the nightshades, tomatoes in particular, and tomato sauce. So if you're doing all that, you'll probably see a great reduction of your pain. And then at night, you got a baking soda bath or a salt bath. Seems like a lot of work, but once you get the pain under control, and the inflammation comes down, then you're able to kind of manage it, and you've like put the fire out enough, the alarm stopped going off. And that's really the first step. And pain relief is, get the alarm down low enough that you can now start to treat the cause. And there can be so many different causes. And a lot of our causes to pain, according to Ayurveda, and this whole talk is, based on a knowledge of Ayurveda. So I'm only relating my knowledge of Ayurveda and my experience. So this is just what I'm sharing with you. So, there's more to learn from Ayurveda, and people know more than I do on Ayurveda, and there's more other herbs that can be taken. So I'm just sharing what knowledge I have. But most people, according to Ayurveda, have this pain due to toxic accumulation in the body. So this can be years of constipation, and of course not going every day is constipating, and even just going one time a day in the late part of the day is a type of constipation. So this creates a type of autotoxicity, or Ayurveda we call that kind of a ama accumulation, that then starts getting into the bloodstream. Then we'll get into the muscles or the joint or a weak area in your body, or even your nervous system, and start to create the pain. So to eliminate the pain, you have to eliminate the cause. So if you're having a lot of toxic foods like GMOs and foods that's not organic and fast foods, then this could be part of your cause. And if you're constipated for 20 years of your life, then this could be part of your cause. Even over fasting, dieting, depleting yourself, low-fat diet, these can create pain because the body, and particularly the nervous system, becomes too depleted, particularly if you combine that with coffee. So say you're fasting and you're not having much fat because you're believing in the non-fat diet, because maybe you think you have fat, so not eating fat will help, which is, we now know, is false. But maybe you've done that for a while, and then you're taking coffee to further stimulate it. So you've depleted the nervous system of these vital nutrients it needs, including fatty acids to protect the nerves, and to the magnesium and the B vitamins, maybe because of the poor diet. And so the nerves are depleted, and then you throw the coffee in there to stimulate it, or chocolate. Chocolate's very inflammatory too. I hate to tell you. There's plenty of things to eat, but not chocolate, not vinegar, and not cayenne pepper, and not spice. These are just going to aggravate the nervous system, particularly when you have a type of sciatica or nerve pain. You have to really have more fat in the diet and avoid these, pepper and chilies and things that can, and cayenne and what was I saying? Coffee and chocolate. These will make these nerve pain conditions like sciatica worse. So you may have to change the diet a little bit, get rid of the tomato sauce, stop eating out, and cut back on the coffee. And of course, if you're using coffee to keep going, that's what's keeping you going in life, then, well, you have another issue there with burning your adrenals out, burning your kidneys out, and you're just whipping the horse, the tired horse, overworked horse, underfed horse, with a whip, which is the coffee, to keep it going. So eventually that body will kind of collapse, just like eventually the horse would collapse after being pushed and not taken care of. So you don't want to go that direction either. You want to take care of the body, even take a vacation, take a rest. And speaking of rest and vacations, being outside, outdoors, getting more oxygen, going in the ocean and swimming in that warm ocean water, not too cold and salty. This can be very helpful for nerve pain, of course, anxiety, and even joint and muscle pain. There's many treatment centers around the world that are using salt water as their main method of treatment. They have jacuzzis and hot tubs that are using high density salt water. So we know that there's the Black Sea and different oceans that have high content of salt. People bathe in these things therapeutically. So salt is very effective. So I hope that gave you some ways in which you can improve your health, of course, and reduce your fat. Reduce your pain. I'm sorry. Let me see. I'm looking at the comments here. Please, now's the time to shoot them. Yeah, somebody's asking about Boswellia. The Latin name is frankincense tree. Yeah, I think there's more to the Latin name there, but it is a frankincense. This type of resin. I think it's related. And that's why it's in that form. It's very good for inflammation and pain, very good. And I mix it like 50-50 with a high quality turmeric, and of course, I'm getting certified organic turmeric, not the cheap stuff. And this turmeric, by the way, you just can't take it in capsules. It's best to cook in it and make spices and cook it with your food. You'll get a much better effect than just swallowing capsules, because it needs to be in something that's fat soluble. So when you're cooking, you have fat. Keep asking the questions here. Makes knees make a cracking sound when I squat. Well, if you got this cracking, see if when you go like this, do your fingers cracked? Is your neck cracked? You get cracking in other places, and so this is a depletion of cartilage. More than likely, you're a thinner person, maybe slightly underweight. Overweight people with excess body fat don't have cracking joints. They may have stiff joints, but swelling joints, but they don't have cracking joints. So this again can be due to a low-fat diet, a vegan diet, too much dieting, too much fasting. So part of the cure is having more fat in the diet. So, a little ghee with your meals, flax oil, fish oil, getting that fat content back up, and you'll start to see the skin get a little thicker and the joints stop cracking. So you don't want this cracking. But, sometimes there's the hip could be misplaced or something like that, and you should see an osteopath or a chiropractor to have that adjusted. So here we got tingling pain in the right hand. Of course, I can't really diagnose people from chat and live, but, it gets me talking on certain subjects. So you could... for tingling pain, well, this is nerve. This is a nervous system. The nervous system is depleted. It could be from too much stimulation, as we kind of talked about earlier here, where the nerves have been depleted, not enough oil, nutrients, minerals, trace minerals in the diet, not enough healthy fat in the diet. So that, and then too much stimulation, coffee, chocolate, sugar. And yeah, while we're on the subject of sugar, sugar definitely is inflammatory. There's no doubt about it. I mean, sugar is really kind of white processed sugar. We're not talking about cane sugar. I mean, cane sugar is not necessarily inflammatory. Actually, cane sugar can be anti-inflammatory. It's very cooling. So if you're in a very hot weather, like you're in India or South America, and you're just like sweating and you're just, oh my God, your whole body's heating up. Well, you could drink some cane sugar and you'll cool right down. So it can be used therapeutically for hot conditions. So that would be something that you'd want to look into. Any more questions there? Okay, I can't answer every question on pain there, but it's really important to, let's just rehearse here. It's very important to understand what is creating the pain. You just can't say my abdominal area, or people falsely refer to their whole colon or abdominal area to their stomach, when in fact it could be the gallbladder, it could be the pancreas, it could be blockage or obstruction in the colon, could be a type of diverticulitis or inflammation of the colon. So you've really got to narrow that down. And so if you have a chronic pain, you have to take it seriously and have it checked out. I mean, how you treat it can be your choice at the end of the day, but you really have to determine the type of system or organ that's being affected, which system, and then start exploring what the causes that could have made it. And a lot of people have a good idea if they have a history of having a lot of coffee or have a lot of history of having a lot of tomato sauce and inflammatory foods, or eating poorly, or and of course there's certain types of joint and muscle pain that just are more structural due to the spinal system or the spine pinching nerves. So here you need to see osteopath or a physical therapist or chiropractor, or even just a massage therapist to address this. But if you do see a massage therapist and you have muscle pain and joint pain, it's always better to use oils on your pain than to just do a dry massage, because oils have the analgesic herbs are in the oils that help to reduce this pain down. So I hope that gives you some hope that there's ways in which you can improve your pain without having to take pain medication long term. And these are ancient kind of herbal treatments that have been around for a long time, and they work. You just have to be taking them every day and continuing to use them. But the main point I do want to make before we end this webinar is that you need to always try to address the cause with pain, understand the cause, which is really the real trick from my point of view as a practitioner, is what caused this pain in this person. What is this person doing every day or did for 20 years that created this type of blockage that's creating the pain, or this inflammation that's creating this pain? So then we can remove the cause, because you don't just want to end up treating the symptom. We know there's a lot of that going on, and we want to investigate and understand what is the underlying cause, and then from there, then it can be properly treated. So, of course, if you have issues with chronic pain and you're not clear about the cause, but you at least know the source of it, the organ or the system, then feel free to contact me, and we can make a program of proper diet, oils, and herbs to help further reduce the pain and inflammation systemically and at that certain point. And then more importantly is we can treat the organ, clear the gallbladder, clear the colon, clear the kidney stones, clear the toxins out of the joint, remove the toxins out of the muscle tissue, and so that you are able to resolve the issue instead of just dealing with the symptoms. So pain is a message to the body that you have an issue that needs to be addressed urgently. And then you see, by the pain is stopping you from working, stopping you from doing other things in your life. So we have to interpret that. That means it's gotten to that point where you need to stop working, stop doing other things in life, and address the pain. I mean, that's why you have it. So it's a very important. Here's we'll take a couple more questions here. Tingling and hurting when she touches it. Yeah, like I said, tingling, numbness, these are all neurological issues, part to do with the nervous system, usually due to a kind of, like I mentioned a few times here, a depletion in the nervous system. So it's easy to help improve as a different oil, not this one for nerves. It's just for nerve pain, sciatica, tingling, numbness. And you would put that on it topically warm after a salt bath, and this will help a lot. And then we have to get in there and support that nervous system. So again, you can't just think, oh, I have this numbness on my hand, how do I get rid of it? The real intelligent and proper question that you want to ask is, why do I have this tingling and numbness in my hand? And that's more than likely has to do with your nervous system and depletion and aggravation, overstimulation in your nervous system. Okay, so I hope I answered most of your questions, and more importantly, I hope I give you hope to help you to resolve your pain in your body. So once again, thank you very much for joining me in this webinar. I'll continue to have them when I'm free, and feel free to contact me if you like additional information about my services and to improve your overall health, and not just that covering up the symptom of pain. Okay, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen.